Good morning, students. Today we are going to see Standard 8th Civics, Chapter number 5, the State Government. In the last chapter, we understood the nature of Union Parliament and Union Executive. We were also introduced to the integrated judicial system in India. In this chapter, we will study the government of constituent states or state government. In the federal system, the government exists at two levels. Federal, that is the central government, works at the national level and the state government works at the regional or state level. So as our government, it works at two levels. The first level is central government, which will work at the national level, and the second one is state government, which will work at the state level. The working of the government is divided between central government and state government, and they are having their own responsibilities. Background: India has a large geographical expanse with a multicultural population. There is diversity in language, religion, ways of life, and regional characteristics. As we know, from 3rd standard you are studying about this, that our culture is multicultural system. As the state changes, our culture changes, our language changes, our religion changes. Many different religions are there in our country and many different languages we use in our country. As we move towards the different states, the state's language is also different. So we can say there is diversity in our country. It would not have been possible to govern from a centralized place. Therefore, the Constitution has adopted a federal setup for India. So as what? To make as at the central level, we cannot work for all the population. So work for our country, the government is divided into two steps: central government and state government. Therefore, the Constitution has adopted a federal setup for India. So as constitutional book will help us to work for the national level also and for the state level also. It was decided to form the states on the basis of language. So, according to the Constitution, it was decided to make the states according to the language. Accordingly, linguistic reorganization of states took place, due to which different linguistic languages had been, the organizations had been started. So as we will move towards the Karnataka, there in Karnataka we'll see the people, they are speaking in Kannada. If you'll move towards the Andhra Pradesh, there you can see the people, they are talking or they will speak in Telugu. In Maharashtra we will see most of the people, they are speaking in Marathi. So this is the thing where, as according to the state changes, their regional language, their culture, their clothing, their diet, all the content changes. So according to the situation, according to the geographical condition of our place, the diet, language and other things are based. The nature of government machinery in all states of India is same. However, Jammu and Kashmir is an exception. Let us now study the governments in states with reference to Maharashtra. See, as at all the levels, at national level the government responsibilities are different, at state levels the government's work is different, at district level the government responsibilities are different. So, before 2019, the Jammu and Kashmir was an exceptional, but now a time it had been included in our country. So this content should be changed. So when new publication of textbooks will be done, that time this content will be changed as according to change in our rules and regulations, as now Jammu and Kashmir is one of the part of our country and it is also a union territory and also a state. Do you know, India has 29 constituent states and the state government have the responsibility of the governance of these states. So there are 29 constituent states, and at all 29 constituent states there are different state governments who will work for that particularly state. State legislature. Like the parliament at the central level, every state has its own legislature, but only 7 states in India have 2 houses. That is, bicameral legislature. Maharashtra has a bicameral legislature. The members of the state legislature are known as members of Legislative Assembly, that is MLA, or members of Legislative Council, that is MLC. So, members of Legislative Assembly, MLA, and MLC, that is members of Legislative Council. So, state legislature, as according to the state, different MLA, MLC, that peoples are appointed at the state level, and the working of the state is looked after by these 2 peoples. So these are the 2 levels where the government works at the state level. Legislature of Maharashtra. Legislature of Maharashtra has 2 houses, namely Vidhan Sabha, Legislative Assembly, and Vidhan Parishad, that is Legislative Council. So Maharashtra has 2 houses, Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Many times these 2 words you can hear from news channels and also from the Doordarshan channel. So they will give us detailed information about the Vidhan, what is Vidhan Sabha and what is Vidhan Parishad, and what is the work of them. You can get this all information from news. So we should be up to date about news channel. Vidhan Bhavan of Mumbai, they had shown Vidhan Sabha, Legislative Assembly. Let's see what is Vidhan Sabha and what is the work of Vidhan Sabha. This is the first house of the Maharashtra legislature and comprises of 288 members. So, Vidhan Sabha, this is first house of Maharashtra legislature, and here 288 members are there in Vidhan Sabha. In case there is inadequate representation of the Anglo-Indian community, the governor nominates 1 member from this community in the Vidhan Sabha. So, if any person is from the Anglo-Indian community, backward community, so the governor, he nominates a person from that community for Vidhan Sabha. Some seats are reserved for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So, here in Vidhan Sabha, reserved seats are kept for scheduled caste people and for scheduled tribes people. Maharashtra is divided into territorial constituencies for the purpose of election. 1 member is elected from each of the constituencies. So, Maharashtra is divided into different territorial constituencies due to which the elections are taken, and 1 member is elected from each constituencies. So that person will look after for that particularly state. Tenure of the Vidhan Sabha is 5 years. So the tenure means the duration. Duration of Vidhan Sabha is for 5 years. So the elections which will be taken for the Vidhan Sabha will kept only for 5 years. So after 5 years, the government will be changed. And with the government, as the government changes, the Vidhan Sabha members also changes. However, in exceptional circumstances, election can be held before the completion of 5 years. So, as the 5 years completed, the circumstances as according to the need, the elections again are held, and according to the elections, the members are chosen. Any citizen residing in Maharashtra and who has completed 25 years of age can contest the elections to Vidhan Sabha. So, who can stand for elections from the side of Vidhan Sabha? So, the person who is from Maharashtra only, means the citizen of Maharashtra, and also the person, the girl or boy, should have to be completed 25 years of his age. So, he is or she is eligible to be a member of the Vidhan Sabha, and he can contest the elections for Vidhan Sabha. Speaker of Vidhan Sabha. The proceedings of the Vidhan Sabha are carried out under the supervision and guidance of the Speaker. So, in Vidhan Sabha, one Speaker is appointed. So, according to his supervision, the Super Guide gives guidance to the members that what to do, what is the discussion to be taken in the Vidhan Sabha, what is the problem, and what solution we have to take on from it. So, the discussions are taken over by the help of Speaker. The elected members of the newly constituted Vidhan Sabha elect the speaker and deputy speaker of Vidhan Sabha. So under this, the members of the elected member of the newly constituted Vidhan Sabha, he elects the deputy speaker and the speaker and deputy speaker for Vidhan Sabha from amongst themselves. From that 288 members, one person is selected to be a speaker and another one person is selected as deputy speaker. The speaker has many responsibilities which range from the power to prepare the order of business, to carry out the proceedings of the house in a disciplined manner, or to suspend members for misbehavior or misconduct. In absence of the speaker, the responsibility is taken over by the deputy speaker. So these are the responsibilities that the speaker have to prepare a chart. What is the business, means for what we have kept the meeting, what discussion should we make here, if any person is misbehaving. So it's the responsibility of the speaker to remove that person from the Vidhan Sabha and take it out to that person, and no any misconduct should be taken out. So the speaker's responsibility is all this, and if the speaker is absent due to any illness or due to any reason, so the deputy speaker have to carry the work of the speaker. So they are elected as speaker and deputy speaker in the Vidhan Sabha. Maharashtra's legislature conducts minimum 3 sessions in a year. The budget session and monsoon session is conducted in Mumbai, while the winter session is conducted in Nagpur. So the meetings, yearly 3 meetings are conducted. So first one is for budget session, second monsoon session, and in Mumbai the winter session that is conducted in Nagpur. So these are the 3 sessions in a year they have to conduct for Vidhan Sabha meeting. Vidhan Parishad, Legislative Council. It is the second house of the Maharashtra legislature, and members are indirectly elected from various selections of society. There are 78 members in the Vidhan Parishad. So just we had seen about Vidhan Sabha. Now we are going to study about the Vidhan Parishad, that is Legislative Council. So this is the second house of the Maharashtra legislature. Here the members are indirectly elected from various sections of society. There are 78 members in Vidhan Parishad. Of these, some members who are distinguished personalities from the fields of literature, science and social service are nominated by the governor. Remaining representatives are elected by the members of Vidhan Sabha, local government institutions, teacher constituencies and graduate constituencies. So these are the persons who are elected, which are indirectly elected. No elections are taken. Some persons are appointed by the governor and some members are appointed by the Vidhan Sabha members. So as it is divided from the various fields, that from literature, from science, from social services, the persons are nominated by the governor. Different teachers, the local government institutions, they can also participate in the Vidhan Parishad as a member, which can be included or elected by the Vidhan Sabha. The Vidhan Parishad is never fully dissolved. A specific number of members retire every 2 years, and these vacant seats are filled again by conducting fresh election for those seats. So here the Vidhan Parishad, it is not never it had been fully elected, as no duration is given for this, as some persons after 2 years or 1 year they get retired. So due to the retirement, again new person is appointed instead of that person to complete the vacant seats. The proceedings of the Vidhan Parishad are conducted under the control and guidance of the chairman. In absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman takes over the responsibilities. So as like in Vidhan Sabha the speaker and deputy speaker works, like that only in Vidhan Parishad the chairman and the deputy chairman, they work for the Vidhan Parishad. Understood? Now let's see Executive of Maharashtra. The Governor, Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers together form the Executive of Maharashtra. So how the Executive of Maharashtra is prepared? The Governors, Chief Ministers, Council of Ministers, these three togetherly they are known as Executive of Maharashtra. Governor. The president is a nominal head of the center, while the governor is the territorial nominal head at the state level. So governor, the president is the nominal head of the center, while the governor is the nominal head of the state level. As like president, it works for the central level. Like that only, the governor, it works for the state level. President will look after at national level. Governor will look after at the state level. Governor is appointed by the president and holds the office during the pleasure of the president. So as governor, he is appointed by the president. And up to when president will not remove the governor, up to then he can work. The governor also enjoys certain legislative powers. For example, the bills passed by the Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad are converted into laws only after receiving the assent of the governor. So, now pay attention. The bills which will be passed by Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, that to convert it into a law, the laws will be prepared by the Vidhan Parishad and Vidhan Sabha. But when the law will be implemented, by the sign of the governor. When the governor will sign on that bill, then only the laws will be prepared for the public. Other than without the governor's sign, the laws cannot be called a complete law, and it should not be allotted on the public. The governor has the right to summon the session of the state legislature. When the legislature is not in session but the need arises to make the law, then the governor can issue an ordinance for the same. So, if any emergency is taken in our country, so in that case, no any suggestion of Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad is taken. Independently, the governor can take the decision. Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers. The leader of the majority party in Legislative Assembly becomes the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister includes her trustworthy colleagues in the Council of Ministers. Like the Prime Minister, who is the executive head of the Union, the Chief Minister is the head of the state executive. Now we are seeing about the Minister, the Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers. Here, the leaders of the majority party in Legislative Assembly becomes the Chief Minister. So, from the Legislative Assembly, that is Vidhan Sabha, from the members, the person who will be elected as with the majority will be seen as a Chief Minister. So, the Chief Minister, his or her trustworthy colleagues in the Council of Ministers. So, the persons on which the Chief Minister can believe, that persons are elected as a Council of Ministers. Like the Prime Minister, who is the executive head of the Union, the Chief Minister is the head of the state executive. Like this, Prime Minister, he is the executive of Union, that is at the central level. Like this, the Chief Minister is the head of the state executive. The government of the state is run in the name of the governor, but in reality, the administration is carried out by the Chief Minister. So, as the administration which is carried out by the Chief Minister, but the government of the state is run by the name of the governor, but the main worker is Chief Minister. Let's see what is the functions of the Chief Minister. Creation of the state executive. After proving the majority, the Chief Minister forms her Council of Ministers. So, by winning by majority of the members, Chief Minister is appointed, and after Chief Minister is appointed, Chief Minister appoints Council of Ministers. This is a challenging task because in order to make the Council more representative, various regions and social groups, that is scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, other backward caste, women and minorities, etc., have to be accommodated if no party secures a clear majority. Different parties can come together to form the government in such cases. So, if a situation arises, the majority is not seen. So individual by understanding, two parties can be combined and one party can be formed. One government can be formed by together two parties. In such case, the chief minister has to perform the difficult task of giving a place to all the constituent parties in the alliance. So, it becomes difficult for the chief minister to select the council of ministers. So, this will be the difficult part if no any party wins with majority. So, by mutual understanding, the two parties combines together and the votes are combined, so the majority can be formed and can be seen. So, it can be helpful for the chief minister to select a person or to select a party. Distribution of portfolios. After the formation of the Council of Ministers, the chief minister has to distribute portfolios among the ministers. While distributing portfolio, she has to consider the political experience, administrative skills, awareness of public opinion, leadership qualities, etc. So now distribution of portfolios, this is carried out by the after the formation of Council of Ministers, the chief minister, he distributes the portfolio among the Council of Ministers. So the responsibilities are given to the Council of Ministers according to their experience, according to their administrative skills, according to their awareness of public opinions, and with the leadership qualities. Coordination between the ministers' departments. The chief minister along with the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly. The chief minister bears the ultimate responsibility of the efficient administration. So, the coordination is important between the ministers and Council of Ministers. The chief minister along with his Council of Ministers, they collectively have to take the responsibility of the Legislative Assembly of Vidhan Sabha. So, the chief minister bears the ultimate responsibility of the efficient administration. Absence of cooperation and coordination between departments can affect the working of the government. So, if there will be no any cooperation between the members, between the departments, so the working of the government, it will become a difficult situation and it will give us a bad effect on the government. Therefore, the chief minister has to resolve conflicts between departments and ensure that they work towards the same goal and in the same direction. So, the chief minister have to look after the matters between the departments and he have to make a coordination between them, so the problems should be resolved as soon as possible and they have to point out towards their goal and also in a same direction for the progress of our country. Leader of the state. Just as the Prime Minister leads to the country, the Chief Minister leads the state. The Chief Minister has to make new policies by taking note of problems and concerns of people and work towards the welfare of the people of the state. The people look at the Chief Minister as the problem solver. The Chief Minister intervenes the issues facing the state and comforts the people. So, just as the Prime Minister it leads the country, like that only the Chief Minister it leads the state. So what are the policies, new policies taking note of the problems is the responsibility of the Chief Minister. As we will look after to whom, as we are in a state, we will look after to the decisions which will be taken by our Chief Minister. So we the people, we the public, we look after our Chief Minister as a comfort and as a problem solver to our Chief Minister. Because Chief Minister, he is going to provide us the facilities to our state. Maharashtra is one of the progressive states in India. The state leads in sectors like education, industry service sector, health and social security, etc. So, the Maharashtra is one of the progressive state of our country, which leads to different sectors like education, industry, service sector, health and social securities are provided in our country. Terror attacks and Naxalite left-wing extremist movement active in certain regions are the two major challenges facing the state of Maharashtra. So, the two major problems are attacks of terrorist attacks which are taking place in Maharashtra, and the Naxals which are attacking on the government. These are the two challenges facing in our state, and other things are good in our country. So in this way we had completed this chapter. Complete the given exercise, read the chapter and learn the question and answers of this chapter. That's all for today. Thank you.